Since the NBA is pretty much a desert right now, and NBA 2K's yearly update, release is coming out soon, I think it's a good time to give my 2 cents on the game that is worthy of having a license agreement and rights to use any NBA related content. While we thought 2K was working hard each year to innovate their game, they were actually perfecting their mind wiping technology on some Men in Black types. Because people always expect the next 2K to be better when it's just the same product each year with an updated cover. Don't even get me started on the multiple covers for this year's game that I'm sure took less than 5 minutes to create collectively. As someone who played basketball video games since the early 2000s, I've watched two competing basketball titles adapt and innovate over the years to become the most popular. I played NBA Live 2003 through 2005, and there was no doubt that those were the best basketball games on the market at those times. At the time, the game allowed more and more freedom to control your player how you wanted to, which led to more fluid gameplay, and the addition of an All-Star Weekend event was game-changing. I was introduced to NBA 2K in 2005, and honestly, it wasn't a very memorable game for a few years. But one big change would set 2K apart forever. Both NBA 2K10 and NBA Live 10 released on October 6, 2009, and both were a gold standard for sports gaming. Both featured improved graphics and gameplay, but NBA 2K's new My Player mode took the franchise to new heights. I can confidently say that from NBA 2K10 to about NBA 2K17 was the golden era of this gaming franchise. When NBA 2K18 released, it was clear that the company had made a deal with Diablo. The neighborhood was an oversized advertisement hub that would lag and cause frame rate issues often, making the game near unplayable for a while. The storyline for your career made no sense and was paired with an annoying ad spokesperson disguised as your friend. Any desire to innovate the game each year is gone, and we are ultimately left to pay $100 plus each year for a roster update and recycled content that gets advertised as new features. NBA 2K20 seems to be the last memorable release from this series, and it's not because it was special or anything. It was due to the world being on lockdown and people being forced to stay at home. NBA 2K26 is coming out on the 29th for those that paid $100 plus for the game, but if you didn't, it comes out on September 5th for the casuals. Being able to pre-order this game before they even release a second of gameplay is grifty enough, but to then pay extra to play the false version of NBA 2K26 is diabolical. When I say the false version of NBA 2K26, I'm referring to the yearly 2K cycle that occurs once a new title is released. For the first month or so, the popular content creators in 2K decide the meta of the game, and players will create those recommended player builds while maxing out their credit cards to then get that build to at least 85 overall. Usually around the holiday season though, the combination of casuals complaining how difficult the game is and the wave of new players that got the game as a gift leads 2K to switching the meta up almost entirely. Now, the game feels completely different since launch day, and those demigod builds have now been nerfed. Players that made their builds early in the game are now faced with either sticking it out with their original builds or pouring more money into the game in order to keep up with the changing meta. This is the classic 2K mass manipulation cycle of the most popular basketball game on the market. As artificial intelligence is becoming more and more normalized by the day, NBA 2K's use of it in its yearly games is becoming more evident. With zero authenticity and scripted scenarios driving gameplay, 2K is becoming a soulless shell of a once great franchise. Pro play has become the driving force behind gameplay now as developers are straying away from motion capture technology. 2K would rather upload videos of players' movements and have AI simulate them. This ultimately leads to very clunky and slow gameplay overall. You have to allow scripted animations to play out before you're able to regain control over your player again. As I was watching Soft Drink TV's review on Madden 26, there was a clip of an interview where a former director that worked on Madden 05 mentioned how most popular sports games from the early 2000s use a physics engine that allowed for way more user control and larger variety of scenarios. NBA 2K has run into this paradox where they claim the game has a more real feeling to it each year, but they stop motion capturing real human movements. They want to make a game that's balanced, but they end up catering more to the casual players. One of the biggest questions I have for this game though is why are they so eager to release this game earlier and earlier every single year? It made the most sense when NBA 2K would release in late September or early October because it was closer to the start of the NBA's regular season. I'm sure consumers wouldn't mind if they use the extra month or so to polish things up so they can ensure that they're releasing a complete game for once.